gentlemen, welcome to this episode of the Economic Times Cutting Chai Stories, an initiative by ETH. On this platform, we identify leaders and talk about their personal and their professional journeys. We also discuss the traits and qualities that make these leaders stand out in the industry across different sectors and verticals. In today's session, we will try to delve into the personal side of our guest and will also try to understand his leadership traits and all that has gone into making him a wonderful leader that he is today. Good morning, everyone. I am Dimple Bajwa, your host for this session. And today I have been joined by a commercial banker with over 35 years of experience in the financial services sector. He started his career in Corporation Bank, and after 10 years of rural and urban exposure, he joined ICICI Bank in 1995. After 12 years stint in ICICI Bank, he joined as Head of Commercial and Payments Operations for Barclays India Operations. He is currently the Managing Director and CEO of Credit Access Grameen Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Uday Kumar Hebbar. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Kumar. I'm looking forward to a very insightful and engaging conversation with you today.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So let me start by asking you to take us through your career journey from your first job until now. How have these years changed you as a person, personally or professionally, whatever you prefer to talk about?
Yeah, I joined my career as a simple clerk cum typist cum cashier in a nationalist bank in 1985, and thereafter moved up in the ladder as officer. Moved to Mumbai, which exposed me a lot to the commercial side of the business and then the entire banking sector. So, and then when the new age banks started coming up in 95, I shifted there so that I can see my value there, because I always look forward for a bigger picture, bigger responsibility, bigger role. So I joined there. I spent almost 12 years. Which are in the branch banking, then corporate credit, and then centralizing the businesses, and then eventually started the microfinance and the rural business for the company, for ICICI Bank, for heading the South Zone. So during that period, I used to love this microfinance as one of a key and important factor in the business, which is very important, supporting the low-income households. Maybe this can be done very efficiently. So at that point of time, it was my long-term personal goal to work in microfinance. But yeah, in the meantime, I shifted to Barclays when I got an opportunity to become a head of operations, which is the kind of giving me a lot of opportunity, learning every facet of the bank, including what I had in ICICI Bank. Plus Barclays Bank probably gave me understanding of every parts of the banking and financial segment. Opportunity to work in microfinance, so immediately I took that as a important because this was my long-term personal goal. So probably that helped me to decide to move to microfinance in 2010.
All right, great. That's an interesting journey, I must say. So any incidents from your formative years, in your career that have stayed on with you till date?
Not necessarily, we have incidences which are good or bad, we don't know. But, I'm a positive and I always look forward for doing better things. So I really don't keep in my mind about the things which is not happened properly, or that there may be a failure, but I learn from there and go further. So there are many highs in professional journey, whether in ICICI Bank or Barclays Bank or in Corporation Bank. But under again more than a decade in Grameen, we had many things. There are lows. You can think about these are lows like the Andhra Pradesh crisis, which impacted the microfinance business in 2010. Just when I joined this segment, or demonetization, which impacted the whole businesses, or the COVID, everything are a difficult situation. But we always believe that we can do better, we can come back faster. Probably we will be the first to come out of the crisis. which you have continuously exhibited all the time. Now, probably that made me to think always, you get tough times, but you don't need to worry about tough times. But tough times are always there, but learn from there and go further. So it was a good journey. When I joined Grameen in 2010 2011, we are about 250 crores of portfolio. So today we are more than 15,000 crore portfolio. That itself is a huge journey, So that is what the what you call, thinking the big picture and working for it. So similarly, apart from moving from 250 to over 15,000, so I mean, getting into IPO, raising money through IPO is in 2018, and in midst of COVID, October 2020, we raised another 800 crores through QIP in the midst of COVID it was. And then again, during this entire troubled time, acquiring a microfinance and integrating it. These are all really the important and very, successful completion of tasks in the challenging times. So those makes the life, very, very happy and satisfaction.
Right. I completely agree. So those are big numbers that you've achieved, and success, of course, comes with good team and good people who can contribute to the team. So building, great teams, I'm sure it's not a cakewalk. So I would want to know from you that, what is the best way to build a great team?
Yeah, I think, it is very, very important to think about and then think about how to get the right leaders for running this company. So normally, I always think about having the right person in the bus, right person in the bus. How to get a right person in the bus is very, very simple, actually, not difficult.
Right.
It is very simple. Try to find a person who is very empathetic, and he is able to really transparent and with every stakeholder and who deal with, anticipate, intervene, and resolve conflicts in your team. Define the role clarity and set the goal properly.
Well, those are some really, really nice, I think, traits that a team worker should have.
Give the space. So to give the space and authority to your team, and take responsibility for the failure of your team. So this is the traits I normally look at when I try to hire people for my team.
Right. Wonderful. You summed it up really well. So you're a great leader, and I'm sure that there'll be many out there looking up to you in terms of leadership style, leadership traits, and there would be many who would seek your advice when it would come to leadership qualities. So what advice would you give to someone who is going into a leadership position for the first time?
Yeah. Here also, I would try to make very simple and not a long list, actually. So be empathetic to your team and your customers. Have a big picture in front of you. Work for it. Visualize the success. Listen to customers and employees.
Right.
Spend a lot of time hiring right people and give them enough space to operate. Take ownership. All other things will be in place. So these are my advice to anybody who would like to be moving into a leadership position.
Right. And if you do all this, then of course customers like us would definitely stay happy and come back to you.
Absolutely. Creating the loyal customer base and creating the loyal employees is two key pillars for the success for any business. I have not seen any business fail where they have loyal customers and loyal employees.
Right. Completely agree. So while we've spoken about the qualities, the traits that a leader should have, while we climb the ladder of success, not everything that we do leads us uphill. We all have our downfalls at some point of time in our careers. What is that one behavior or trait, that you think, or maybe you might have seen some trait that has, derailed most leaders out there?
Yeah, I agree. In a over a period of leadership or over a period of time of leading the team, sometime complacency and arrogance will keep creep into the minds of leaders. Sometimes the thinking about I, me, and myself, or I can do everything, I know everything. So this kind of thought process sometimes comes to the mind of people. Probably that will be the starting of downfall for a leader. Now, one should not get into complacency zone. One should not into arrogant zone. So I think that will make one blind about what they need to really do and what they really should not do. So both will be a problem. So I think one should not get into that zone.
Right. Okay, luck is something that we consider before anything important that we're about to do in our lives. How much of a role has luck played a factor in your life, or has it just been about qualifications, experience, and hard work?
See, in my thought process, luck always favors the brave.
Right.
My qualification may not be Ivy League, but hard work, positive attitude, visualizing the big picture, and braving the future. Maybe the factors which helped me to reach here.
Right.
Qualification, expertise, or experience, all these things which can take a person to a certain level. But high emotional quotient with relevant experience, with positive attitude and the ability to manage the people will differentiate between a successful and a not so successful people. This is something I closely look at, while hiring, while running my team, and then this largely reflects in our team also.
Wow, you have such brilliant answers to all the questions. And my next question would be, as a leader, how do you measure success?
Ability to manage without conflict in your team, without achieving every time and continuously, and not worry about the failure. Failure will happen, but learn from failure. So failure is nothing but making yourself ready for next time success. First time success or next time success, not multiple successes. So multiple failures. So and then achieve that. Be relevant to everybody. So those are key things. But from a leader's perspective, if your team is happy, your stakeholders are happy, your community is happy with your outcome. Outcomes are financial, outcome for social developments, outcomes are employee growth. So if you're able to achieve all those things, sustainable and institution sustainability and with the social angle, probably it's successful.
Great. All right, now I'll slightly change gears. Do you remember receiving your first salary? How did you spend the money that you received from your very first job?
Of course, I remember. When I joined by National Bank in '85, my first salary was 468 rupees.
Oh, you remember the exact figure?
8 rupees in cash. It was my first formal employment. I was in informal employment before. So probably I retained some money for myself for my room rent and the day-to-day expenses, because I was quite away from home. So I gave almost near to 200 rupees to my mom.
Wow. And yet you were able to pay your room rent.
Yeah. At that time it was about 75 rupees room rent. A very remote place.
That's interesting. That's nice. Okay, so one last question before we wrap up today's conversation. We know for a fact, that leaders like you have a lot of work on your plate, and you're always busy, and there might have been times when you would have looked for time to spend it with your family. So how do you maintain a balance? How do you maintain a work-life balance and ensure that you're giving enough time to your family as well?
Yeah, I think it's very, very important to have an agreement between you and family, to balance your life. Always it's challenging when you have a large responsibility to work for the company. In the meantime, your responsibility to family will not come down. It will also remain large. But But while doing so, we should have an agreement in such a way that, at least what I follow is I give 5 days to company and 2 days to family. So Saturday, Sunday, I will not do office work.
No work at all.
I will do only family work. But 5 days, family will give me the time to spend for office. So this is what the kind of informal agreement we have always, because always prioritize the office, because the company is the bread provider for the company, for the family. So
Right.
that is why this kind of informal agreement for years what we have.
So there's an agreement between the two.
Correct.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar, for those amazing answers today. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, and there is so much to learn from your experiences. Hope
Thank
to
you very
connect
much.
with you. My pleasure. Hope to connect with you sometime again in the future. Thank you for joining us today for the Cutting Chai session once again.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you. Take care all the way.